everyone, we're going to be specifically talking about finding buyers for the deals when you're prospecting. I've been getting a lot of questions in the comment sections about, hey, I come across a lot of really good deals, but I just don't have any buyers. How do I find buyers? Well, in today's video, I'm going to show you the 8 ways to go out there and find some buyers for your great commercial deals. Number 1 is going to be circle prospecting around the deal that you have. So let's just say that you have a deal, retail property, multifamily property, industrial property, any type of property, 123 Main Street, located right here. Then you're going to prospect the properties in the vicinity, all right? But about 100 or 200 or 500 of the closest properties to this, the deal that you have, right? So you want to be specific. So if we have a 5-unit building and we want to sell this property, then I'm going to want to call the closest, most similar property. So if you have a 5-family property, you're going to want to call the closest, maybe a quarter mile, half mile out, but you're going to want to make sure that the settings in Reonomy are set to something like 5 to 10 units or a similar tax range. Like in New Jersey, we have a roughly 2% tax basis. So if that 5-family property, let's say that owner's looking for 800 grand, they're going to want to go to, times 2, that's 16,000. So you're going to want to be searching for properties that have a tax basis of between 15,000 and 25 or 30,000. So they can obviously afford a smaller property. What you're going to do is you're going to call the closest properties that are the most similar to this property. You can probably go out 5 or 10 or 20 miles from this property if it's a bigger property, because typically people don't just buy, if they're buying hundreds of thousands of square feet of industrial, they're not gonna just buy super local. Okay, number 2 is about reverse looking up all of the previous sales that have occurred in the last 90 days, 6 months, a year, even several years if it's a larger property. But for the smaller properties, you're gonna wanna do people who are quite active. On Reonomy, you can literally sort of properties that have sold in the last 12 months. So if you have a smaller property, again, 5, 10 unit, 20 unit building, you're gonna wanna be looking at the people who are active in your marketplace. So that same thing with industrial properties, where like if you have an industrial buyer, this building's only 10 or 20,000 square feet, you're gonna be wanting to look at the properties that have traded within the last year or so. This way you can call up those buyers, right? You can see literally, let's just say you have 123 Main Street again, okay? Then you can literally pull a list of properties that have sold within a half mile, 5 miles, 10 miles of that property. And then you can see who bought those properties. You can say like, oh, 2 miles away, somebody also bought 127 Main Street in this other area. Then you can see that person is like, oh, well, they're very, very similar properties, similar square footage, similar tax basis, similar type of units, so similar all that. You can call that person up and say, hey, I saw that you bought 2 properties within the last 2 years or 1 year or 6 months that are commonly multifamily properties, and I have a 5 unit, just like the 5 unit or 8 unit that you bought in this area. I'm just curious, would you happen to be open to buying another property? So by the way, if you do not know what to say, you can go in the description down below and download my free script book. Yes, it's for free. Just download it. It's exactly what I would say in these circumstances. So this way you can get fantastic results. And by the way, if you're interested in getting Reonomy at a discount, we finally just locked down an awesome partnership with Reonomy. You can email us at info@henryeisenstein.com and just say Reonomy referral, and we'll get you connected with our Reonomy rep, and we'll get you a 15% discount off of the current price. Right now it's $400. We can get it to you for just about $340. So we're saving you $60 a month. Make sure you check it out. You can definitely use Reonomy, fantastic software. I'm a huge fan of it. And you can also use CoStar, also a huge fan. You can literally look up on both platforms. People have bought properties within the last X amount of months or years and be able to prospect those individuals and see if they would like to buy a similar property. Number 3, you can literally go on Google and you can type in investors in the local market. And I would be really specific. So if you have like 123 Main Street again, okay, let's say it's a 5-unit multifamily property. This works a lot better with larger properties. I've done this specifically with a lot of development deals and larger industrial deals. This has helped me a lot with it, okay? Or what you can do is the following. And this works with a lot of different asset classes. You can literally look up multifamily investors in my zip and then put zip code. And you can literally find all the investors who have an office in your local area. Now, when you look up family offices or investment offices, they're probably gonna be wanting to buy larger stuff. This is a really good option. Like, again, if you have literally no network, no nothing, you can Google it. And stop overthinking how simple this can be. Number 4, partner with local agents. So what I've done in the past is that if I have a property, and you can do this right now, if you have a property, let's say it's a little bit overpriced, what you can do, if the seller permits, by the way, I wanna be super clear, all this type of marketing things is if the seller permits it and you can get a signed exclusive agreement, I would definitely highly recommend it. And if they're very against selling, stop wasting your time with the person. Okay, let's just call a spade for a second. If they're not that interested in selling, just drop it and move on and find somebody who's interested in selling. Let's just say 123 Main Street, they're very interested in selling their property. property. You can call up a local agent. You literally can go on LoopNet, see who has a few listings in the area, both for lease and or for sale, and you can reach out to that broker and say like, hey, I have a property. You don't have to give them the address right away, but hey, I have a local property very similar to the property you have at 127 Main Street, and I'm just curious if you might have some buyers that we can maybe do a deal together. I'd love to co-broker a possible deal with you. You want to be clear, hey, are you open to co-brokering deals? Because if they say no, I would not work with those types of realtors, because when realtors are really adamant about not working with other realtors, just know you might get cut out. Number 5 is partnering with wholesalers. I'm gonna be super clear. I've done a few with wholesalers. I'm not a huge fan of this, but I wanted to give you every option under the sun. I'm not a huge fan of working with other wholesalers because some of them, you gotta vet them is my point, okay? I've had really good experiences, I've had really bad experiences. I can tell you my lessons from both. When I'm working with really seasoned wholesalers, you can get a really good result. These are guys who do several deals a month, okay? Like big time players. They're gonna have decent buyer pools, and sometimes you just don't want a deal being blasted out to 1,000 people. You want that person to have like a few people in their back pocket and be like, hey, I can give a call to my friend John, Sal, whoever, who might be interested in this type of deal. That being said, when you're reaching out to wholesalers to partner with them, you're gonna wanna see how many deals they do, how active they are, how often have they sold properties like this. Because if you go after a wholesaler, because this is exactly what happened, this wholesaler only does residential properties. They have no commercial buyers. So if I sent them a commercial deal, the odds of selling that deal? Almost zero. And I'm gonna say just about zero. It was freaking zero. The point is, like, I'm just gonna waste my time with that. However, there's been wholesalers where they do sell a lot of commercial properties anyways. They have a few people they specifically know. They make a few phone calls and they can sell a commercial property. Just be cognizant, ask a lot of good questions. Do not be in a rush to partner with anybody. Number 6, social media. Now, there's a couple ways you can play around with social media when you have a great deal. You can post it on your story on Instagram. Hey, I have a really good off-market deal. A lot of realtors probably follow you already, especially if you're a realtor or an investor. You might have a lot of people who are just like you, who are following you, post it on your story. You can also put up posts, like long-form posts, all the time, say like, hey, I come across good investment deals. If you happen to be interested in investment deals with this type of asset class, let me know, give me your email and information. I'll make sure I send you. You can write out long form posts on all of these different platforms all the time too, so you can slowly build up a email list of those types of people. You also join Facebook groups. I have had very bad experiences with Facebook groups. I'm gonna be very, very clear. This is what I like to do with Facebook groups. Instead of posting, hey, I have XYZ deal, and you give all the information in the Facebook group, and then you get 700 people who reach out to you, what you wanna do is be specific with it, because everyone's gonna reach out to you if you have a deal, okay? I'm just gonna be honest with you. If you put, hey, I have a 2-family to a 200 unit or this industrial, this anything in a Facebook group, you're gonna have a lot of people who reach out to you. What I like to do is I like to pre-vet. So I say, hey, I'm looking for investors who are looking for retail properties, 20,000 square feet to 100,000 square feet in Miami-Dade County, anywhere that's specific where you might have a deal, because this way you only get people who reach out to you who might have that deal. And then you can even write in there specifically looking for principal buyers only. Because what's gonna happen is you go into a Facebook group and you say, hey, I've got this property, X, a 10,000 square foot retail center, X underpriced, it's got this kind of value add, huge, really good deal. Everyone and their mother is gonna reach out to you on a Facebook group. And then you're gonna have to vet everybody one by one, and you're gonna have to, you're just gonna have so much people to sort through. It's just not gonna be fun, and it's not gonna give you the results you want. So that's why I say, I wanna be specific, and I basically wanna talk to my direct audience and say like, hey, this is who I'm looking to connect with. I wanna be connected to these people. And now, don't get me wrong, sometimes what happens is like, you get a realtor and they're like, hey, I actually have a client who's specifically looking for this type of product. If you happen to have anything, let me know. By the way, great question to ask. How many deals have you closed with this buyer? Make sure you ask them that question. Again, if you have any great deals, you can email us at info@henryrisingsign.com. I'd love to be able to support you. Number 7, we're talking about investor meetups. Again, I've had great experiences and I've had bad experiences, but this is definitely a good way, especially at the beginning of your career, or if you're looking for investors, this can be a good option for you. You can either join, because there's a bunch of them, go on meetup.com, you can go on events, just Google events, local near me, and real estate investment events, whatever. All over the country, they're gonna have these. Or you can create your own and then reach out to a bunch of people in your local markets, like attorneys, title companies, lenders, realtors, you name it, and start building your own community around you. That's the same exact thing, by the way, for the Facebook groups. You can actually build your own communities, which I think is really, really lucrative, both in person and virtual. If you're looking to either go to an event or start your own event, either way, you want to vet people. And number 8, last but not least, is you can be building your list as you go through the deals you sell. What happens is commonly, as you continuously prospect, and any way that you prospect, whether you're doing paid advertising or cold calling, cold outreach, this thing, that thing, whatever, you're gonna come across people who are interested in buying real estate. Like we've talked about throughout this entire video, you're gonna wanna make sure you vet them. But as you're building this, you're gonna be building an email list. You can even use easy texting, and you can do a text list. You could do a lot of different things when you're building out your list, and you're gonna wanna sort them by asset class that you're working in, okay? So if you're specifically only doing one asset class, and you randomly get one outlier who's looking for multifamily as an example, but you're typically a retail person or an industrial realtor or investor, just because you get one random person, you're gonna wanna make sure like, hey, like unless this person buys 20 plus properties a year, and it's very simplistic for you to be able to transition and then start prospecting for this asset class over here, right, and dropping everything you're doing over here, I would not just jump over there unless it's somebody who buys 20 properties a year, very, very seasoned, and you have the bandwidth to start calling for another asset class, even though this is your focus. Just be cognizant of that. So, you know, this one is about building an email list, building a text list. Over time, you're gonna be able to cultivate through all these different things, and you're gonna be able to build this massive list of individuals who are seasoned, who are active, who actually have the money, and who are not gonna just waste your time. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please make sure that you like and subscribe to the channel if you've yet to do so already. Make sure you check out all the free resources down in the description down below. Other than that, I appreciate you guys, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care.